if another indie hacker were to ask you for advice on, challenges to avoid, tech-wise, ways of thinking, some lessons learned, what would you say to them? What would be your advice to someone who kind of wants to follow your footsteps?
So I think the best advice I can pass on to maybe somebody who's running a new startup, specifically as a solopreneur, is that some stuff is going to go wrong at some point. So I think one of the hardest challenges that I faced over the last 18 months or so is those moments where things don't quite go to plan. So, maybe it's a bad deploy, maybe there's some downtime from a provider that's out of your control. So those moments can be so stressful that it pretty much makes you want to just sell the business and be done with it. So it's a very emotional reaction. If you imagine that you're running a business that people are relying on, and you're looking at server logs, everything's going wrong, customers are emailing you, it's very easy to get into an emotional state where you're not capable of solving problems. It's easy to kind of catastrophize and think to yourself, well, my business is going to go under, all my customers are going to churn, this is the worst thing ever. And then when you're in that emotional state, you might start changing things. So, let's say AWS goes down. You might suddenly decide it's a good idea to move everything to Google Cloud. All you need to do is, spin up some new containers and change your DNS. And then you're looking at propagation times. You're still stressing out, and it just kind of adds fuel to that fire. So the best advice I can give is really on that subject of when things go wrong. So first of all, accept that at some point things are going to go wrong. No company has 100% uptime. We've seen that with Facebook recently. We've seen it with Amazon. At some point, your systems are going to go down for a small amount of time. So prepare for that moment. Have some kind of uptime monitoring and proper test setup. So in my example, I use a tool called Better Uptime, which I'm not affiliated with, but I think is genuinely fantastic. That pings the servers every minute or so, and if anything goes wrong, it phones my mobile phone, it bypasses sleep mode, all that kind of stuff. And I know something's going wrong. I know I'm able to check the logs and find out what's happening. So there's breathing exercises you can do. If you're in a heightened emotional state where you're not making decisions properly, you can literally imagine you're breathing through a straw, and breathe in as slowly as you possibly can for about 6 breaths. That will bring your adrenaline down. It will bring your breathing and your kind of state of panic down to a point where you can actually start to function. First thing, you go on Twitter, see if anyone else is having issues with Heroku or Zapier or AWS. Find out the root cause of that. You've got your uptime monitoring software, so your users are already kept in the loop, and then you can add an incident so people know that you're looking into it, and start to fix things if necessary. So I think the advice to any new founders is start to be prepared for when things go wrong. Start to set up systems and monitoring properly so that you can be confident in your ability to respond. And just take it easy, don't panic. Don't start changing things when you're freaking out, because that's when the worst stuff goes wrong.